Howdy. Charlie Simons here. Do not talk. Talking about things that everyone keeps telling me I'm not supposed to talk about, especially the media. After a lifetime of being in that radio and television, even two major networks, worked for ABC and CBS for a lot of years. Um, I know full well how the media works and operates, and how the greatest lie they tell is by omission, by never even letting you see truth and facts. It's real. But there's an alternative media now, and people like me bringing you things, bringing you people, telling you about what's going on and what the real story is, as best as we know it. None of us are perfect, of course, but thank God for that. At least for now, we have that. Michelle Melendez, she can tell you some stories about being doxxed and shut down and shut up. It happens to all of us. I don't even have a Facebook platform anymore. They deleted every single one of my pages, and Instagram too, which is owned by Facebook, of course, because of something I did in June about Pride Month. I have been hurt by that uh, greatly because I'd put all my eggs in the meta basket. Unfortunately, I thought, well, that's the most watched thing, and it's easy, and I've already been on Facebook, so I'll just continue promoting everything through there. Now it's all gone away. I don't have any way to let people know that I have these shows. So that falls on you. If you can share these shows, you'll be helping tremendously. If you can support this ministry through my website at charliesimons.com, there's several different ways that you can help financially. Click on that merch store, also buying the products that are on there. That helps as they share in the profits that they make from purchases you make, like this awesome mug that I love. Let's talk about politics and religion. Do not talk. You'll find this mug. That's a nice big 15-ounce mug too. Look at that. It's beauty. Nice big handle. I have big hands and I can fit all four of my fingers in that mug right there. I love that. Hats, shirts, mugs, all at charliesimons.com. You can contact me and actually be a guest on the show. You can book your own guest slot. I'll listen to what you have to say. You always wanted to be on a podcast? This is your opportunity. You can also what else was I thinking? Join Team Charlie. That way, no matter what happens in the future, I'll be able to keep in touch with you through emails. We're building a list. I don't spam. I'm not going to sell your information to anybody. I'm not that guy. Money's not that important to me, but it is integral in the growth of the show with equipment, and it costs to put the show on. So any way you can help is charliesimons.com. It's all there. CharlEESimons, charliesimons.com. Michelle Melendez actually lives on one of the islands in Hawaii. And I don't know how long she has lived there. Everybody talks about what a dream that is. Oh, can you imagine how great it would be to live on Hawaii, any one of the islands, Oahu, Maui, Molokai, the big island. I'm leaving a couple out, obviously, but the point is I have friends who have actually lived there. They got radio jobs there and TV jobs there, and they were all excited about it. And I'd watch their posts on Facebook, and they would just be, they're saying mahalo and aloha and no kaoi and all that stuff. They totally got into it. But if you're a mainlander like I am, and they all were, you get this thing called rock fever when you start realizing that's it. You're not going anywhere. You're kind of stuck there. And it's so fun. It's true deal, true deal. They were so excited to be living in Hawaii, and then they couldn't wait to get back. All they wanted to do was get back to the mainland. Really? How about that? The grass wasn't necessarily greener, but everything else over there is greener, which is what surprised me so much when Maui caught on fire. What is that, 2 years ago now? The horrific fire on Maui, especially the town of Lahaina. And then huge power and money hungry freaks like Oprah Winfrey go in and try and buy up land at pennies on the dollar. And now the government's involved. And of course, the governor of Hawaii, who oversees all the islands. It's a land grab. It's all about the smart city. It's all the Klaus Schwab World Economic Forum. You will own nothing and be happy. This is what they're doing. This is what they. How does a place that's so green as Maui? It's not like in the forests of California. I live in California. I'm a native Californian. And yeah, we got fires all the time, more than ever, but that's because there's no grooming of the forest. There's no raking of the forest, as President Trump first called it in his first term. And everybody laughed at him and do these little memes of him with a giant rake and so on. That's what it's called, you ignorant clowns in the media. That is what it's called. But they don't care. They're going to do everything they can to climb right on in bed with these wicked freaks who want to take away everything that we own and control it. You will own nothing and be happy. Well, somebody will own it. Who's that going to be? You, Klaus? Who's going to own it? Somebody does. It's just not going to be me anymore, which is built into our U.S. Constitution: property rights, ownership of the land that you're on in your home. And they have needled and weeded away and chopped away at it to where you can literally lose your home if you stop paying your property taxes. In this case, I guess I never really owned it to begin with then. How'd that happen? Ooh, I can't wait for you to meet Michelle Melendez. She's got a book talking about exactly this, that Maui land grab. And she is my guest on Do Not Talk. You ready? Hit it. I messed that all up. Okay, we'll fix it in post, as we say in the media business. We'll fix it in post. I messed that all up.
You were funny. That was perfect. And yeah, you're right. It's so green. How in the world did this fire happen? You know, Lahaina used to be people don't realize it, that when King Kamehameha ruled the islands, Lahaina was the capital of the islands. So it wasn't Oahu, it was Maui, and it was Lahaina. And it was lush, and it had ponds, and they literally cemented in a pond there. They moved the water out of Lahaina to the hotels, during the fire. During the fire, they had one taro farmer. Taro's like a potato. Taro farmer down the way from Lahaina that they were having the water go to, and they said they needed his permission to bring the water back to Lahaina because of the fire. And by the time they got his permission, it was too late. And the person in charge of the water, nobody was fired. The number of astronomical ridiculousness of the Maui Emergency Management Center and Department, not one person was fired for the negligence of what happened, for the negligence of not putting the number one hugest, best warning system in the world, not turning it on, because the manager, the Maui Emergency Manager Director, said he was afraid that the people would run into the fire. This man beat out 40 other applicants, and he had zero emergency management experience.
That's a DEI hire if I've ever heard of one.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Charlie, for just keeping this alive, because what's happening now in Maui is just criminal. Absolutely 100% criminal.
It is a land grab.
Absolutely.
That
100%.
same emergency preparedness group you're talking about also did a false alarm that created all kinds of panic. Was that last year? Do you remember all that with the false alarm?
Which one?
Like some kind of nuclear attack is coming.
That was one, and then the other one was about the tsunami. The tsunami warning. Like that's when I've lived here. My family's been on Big Island for 30 years, and I got here 6 years ago. and I was guided here. I was absolutely supposed to be here. So, but yeah, so the first of all, there was the nuclear. Oh, everybody gets an alert on their phone. Find shelter. There's a nuclear bomb coming your way. My sister, she lived here at that during that time, and she looks around and she's like, "There's no place to go." So she goes to the beach, and she said she just wanted to, hopefully she would see the explosion before it reached her, like her, because she just sat on the beach, because there's like, where are you going to go in Hawaii? You don't have
Right.
caves. So
Right.
then the other one was about the tsunami warning. The tsunami warning for a wave that was, so what was, I think it was 12 feet high. 12 feet high. They want us to be in trauma. They want us to always be afraid and worried. But yet, here's the thing. Nobody got an alert on their cell phone when the Lahaina fire was going on. Everybody gets an alert on their cell phone when the possible nuclear bomb is coming. Not one person got an alert when the Lahaina fire was going on. The sirens going off and off and off every hour for the tsunami warning never happened during Lahaina. So, and then the first words out of the governor's mouth after the fire, people lost their homes, lost their ohana, their family members, burned to death. This man, who's our governor, says, "I'm looking for ways for the state to acquire the land for workforce housing." So after his constituents just lost everything, now he's saying, now we're going to take your land for workforce housing, and the state's going to do what it wants with it. I mean, this is a very evil dictator. He is an absolute dictator, and I could tell you more of what he's doing, but I'll give it back to you, and thanks again for having
Well,
me.
I mean, everything I know about him, all I need to know is he's best buds and working in conjunction with Governor Hairdo, as I affectionately call our governor here in California, Gavin Newsom. Seriously,
True, true.
today, as a matter of fact, we're actually taping this on Tuesday, November 4th. This is the day that we're all voting on that over $300 million it cost us for this special election for that clown to take away the commission that we voted for to decide districting lines. He's taking that away from the commission, and he's taking over control of drawing districts,
Oh my God.
voting districts. That's today. That's happening right now as we speak. I already voted, but I voted no on 50. Please, if you haven't voted yet, please vote no on 50. But yeah, but he's working with your governor
Mhm.
and the governor of Washington State and Oregon State, and they're forming their own alliance because the World Health Organization is being defunded, has been
Mhm.
defunded by us. Thank God. Thank you, President Trump, for making that happen. I'm not saying God is President Trump. Thank you, God, for President Trump and giving him that conviction to realize this is a very powerful organization that's deciding the health of the World Health Organization. No, we don't want to be a part of that. We're not going to give our money to that. So Newsom, your governor of Washington and Oregon are all coming together to form their own
Mhm.
type of World Health Organization because they've created the do you vote by mail? Because that's the
Mhm.
greatest form of them being able to cheat is through these mail-in
Mhm.
ballots.
And the
Yeah.
whole thing is about fear, and that's in my third book, is The Death of Freedom: How the American Dream Dies and How to Save It. And part of that is understanding that collective consciousness, we don't understand consciousness. We don't understand that our thoughts actually matter, and that when you have a collective consciousness of fear, that equals manipulation of the people and control over the people. And so we need to remember what and who we are and start standing up for truth. There are things we can do, you guys, and it's notices of liability, and it's affidavits of truth that are recorded in the public record through you can go to the recorder's office at the court. I believe it's at most courthouses or government offices. It's called the clerk, the county recorder. And you can actually this is what I'm doing for Lahaina this next week, because I just found out that I can do this. I didn't know that I could do this, but an affidavit of truth, recording it with the recorder's office, puts it in the public record. And then we can actually start to contact our legislative body through this. So this is actually something that people can do. And I'm also going to be doing this around climate change, because people don't realize climate change it's true. Climate change is happening every second of the day, but there's
Yeah.
no climate emergency.
That's how the Lord designed it, right?
Exactly. Every second of the day, climate change. So oh yes, that is the truth. Climate change does happen, but is there a climate emergency? No. People don't realize the first patent for weather modification was in 1891. 1891 was the first patent, and it was to seed the clouds to make it rain. And they used that. They actually used it in Vietnam, and they called it Operation Popeye. You can look this up. They don't even hide this. This is everywhere. This, you just look it up. It's in Wikipedia. Operation Popeye, and they flooded the Viet Cong because they didn't want them to get reimbursed with soldiers and equipment. And our soldiers, our American soldiers, nicknamed it Operation Mud because there was so much mud everywhere because of the rains. So that was one of the first patents over 100 years ago. And then in 1976, Congress had a Weather Modification Act that went through Congress in 1976, you guys. October 13th, 1976, the Weather Modification Act. And if you just put in Weather Modification Act into your URL, it's going to come up. And this was for them to basically control the weather. And then President Johnson went on, I think it was the University of Texas. I'm not sure which university it was, but he did go on to do a speech saying, we control the weather, and whoever controls the weather controls the world. So they have had this technology for a very long time. And I can even go into some more patents, including the fact that Bill Gates was named by ABC Hurricane Tamer, the Hurricane Tamer, because him along with 12 other inventors, the number 13 inventors for this patent that controls tornadoes and hurricanes. So if this man can control a hurricane, why didn't he use it when a Category 4 hurricane goes up from the ocean and goes all the way to North Carolina and sits on top of a mountain? Can somebody explain that to me? Because that's literally, in nature, that would be impossible.
She's talking about the flood that happened
in
was
North
it
Carolina
earlier this year?
Yep, in North Carolina.
Yeah.
And now we have a Category 5 hurricane for Jamaica. Very, very sad. We are under attack, but I do believe that people are waking up to what's going on. People are going, something's not right. And they're right. Something is not right.
But we don't know what to do about it. Bill Gates, how stunned were you when he actually admitted, yeah, there is no climate crisis, and the world's not coming to an end in 10 years, which is what they've been saying since the 1970s. 10 more years. We only have 10 more years. You better change now. 10 more years. Al
That's
Gore,
right.
Greta Thunberg, all these clowns. We only have 10 more years, and 40, 50 years later.
It's the same.
If that's the case, then how come Obama bought all of his big mansions right there on the beach?
Exactly.
They lie, and then they lie again. The truth is not in them. It is all about control. There's no better way to control a massive amount of people than through fear. And now we have an entire generation of children who have been brought up believing we got to do something. We got to put an end to every single thing that is helping us to thrive, both financially and life-wise. We've got to end it all and get rid of it all, or we're all going to die in 10 years. Because that's what they've been taught through their entire education, haven't they?
100%. And the actual film, An Inconvenient Truth by Al Gore, there was a British teacher that took the filmmakers to court because they didn't. This is in the book, my book, Great Maui Land Grab. Because when I found this, I was like, oh my gosh. The teacher was being forced to show this to his students as truth. And he said, this is not true. And he sued the filmmakers, and they found that there were 9 errors in An Inconvenient Truth, One being the fact that polar bears are not dying like they said they were. They actually, the 4 polar bears that they talked about in the documentary died because of a storm, and Kilimanjaro is not melting this at the rate that they say they are. My family's been here on the Big Island for 30 years. The ocean level has not risen at all here in Kona. Kona's not going to be underwater in 10 years. So it's absolutely the reason why they have to have us believing this, because then they're going to save us with the renewable energy and all the things that are going to, they're going to make the farming land natural land, which means more rules, more regulations. So it's all because of control. That's the reason why.
That's exactly it. So what have you found about Maui? Let's talk about your book, The Land Grab. Let's see it, by the way. Hold it up to where we can all see the cover, because I want to encourage you to get this from Michelle Melendez, Great Maui Land Grab, right there. There it is. Where do we find that, by the way?
You can go to greatmauilandgrabbook.com, greatmauilandgrabbook.com. You can also get it on Amazon. It says how, what is it? What caused the Maui fire, and is your home next? Because that was an attack on the people. First of all, you have to understand, Lahaina sits right at the bottom of a mountain. It does not get wind the way that the wind was howling that day. That's like impossible. It's like very, very, very rare. And they said, there was a hurricane 500 miles away. And one of my friends who has studied the weather for 15 years says wind does not go outside a hurricane more than 50 miles. And I live on Big Island. The wind would have hit us first before it hit Maui. And then the fire went against the wind. And I just have to say thank you so much. Mahalo nui loa to Eric West on Maui, who's a real estate agent, because it's because of him that I have the cover for the book, the picture, and also all of the information about the fact that the fire went against the wind. It literally, this fire is so smart. It jumped over a construction site. It didn't burn any of the wood. No, all the exposed 2x4s were completely intact, but it melted the cars in the parking lot next to it. It left all the trees up and standing with their leaves, dried the leaves out because of the heat, dried the leaves out, but it didn't burn.
It jumped over Oprah Winfrey's complex too. It jumped over a lot of wealthy people's homes and spreads. They never even got affected by it. It is so dirty. The whole thing is so nefarious. And I have friends there who were telling me and actually showing me video of them being stopped as they're trying to shoot video of the after effects. That's right. They made it to where you couldn't even take photos.
That's right.
I saw the one photo that, good luck finding it now on the internet. It's been scrubbed. Many of these photos have been scrubbed.
Which one? I have them, a lot of them in my book.
Yeah, good. What's the deal with the blue umbrellas?
That's not just the blue umbrellas. Okay, let me show you. Let's jump over to my picture, because I'll show you. Yeah, I'll not just show you the blue umbrellas, but everything else here. Tell me when you're ready.
I'm ready.
Got it. Okay, good. So it's not just the blue umbrellas; it's a blue t-shirts, cotton t-shirts that Eric West actually found in the ash. He found, I believe it was 9 blue cotton t-shirts that he picked up out of the white ash. He had to shake off the white ash. And let me just tell everybody, when something burns in a forest fire, they don't call it forest fire anymore, because the forest doesn't burn, but 2, in a forest fire, it's going to be black. It's not going to be white. White means it burns really hot. So he shook off the white ash. All of these 9 cotton blue t-shirts were fully intact. There was not a hole, not one singe mark, nothing in these blue cotton t-shirts. He actually raffled them off and used the money to help with the fire survivors. Not one hole, not one singe mark, nothing. Then we have a blue paper ticket. This is for a submarine ride. All he saw with this was a slit. The slit. He grabs this ticket, shakes off the white ash, and we just see a paper that's completely intact. Paper. Then we all have the blue umbrellas that you talked about just now, all intact. The building next door completely gone, but all these blue umbrellas, not one singe mark. And this one's got to be my favorite one, because this one is my friend survived the fire. This is her house. Her home's demolished. But this stove, look at this. This is melted glass. The glass melted out of the stove. The rocks warped, and you have this beautiful royal blue color. It looks like she just cleaned it. So how is that possible? How's that possible? Well, I'm going to tell you actually how that's possible, because there is, let me show it to you here. This is a patent for a microwave laser using microwave transmission using a laser generated plasma beam waveguide using a titanium sapphire infrared laser. Titanium sapphire. What color sapphire? It's blue. So the scientists that I have researched say that the reason why these blue things are not burning is because the frequency, the wavelength of the sapphire crystal is the same wavelength as the color blue. They're both blue. So it doesn't absorb the energy and burn. It repels it. So that's why that's why the blue things didn't burn. They were actually couldn't absorb the frequency of the wavelength of the laser. And this is why the trees didn't burn. The ones that did burn, they burned from the inside out. So let me show you guys that.
Yes. And we saw evidence of that at the Paradise Fire up where I am in Northern California. We also saw evidence of that in the fires in Canada. We saw evidence of that just now, what happened earlier down in Palisades in Southern California, of this very thing that she is now showing us.
So the one on the left, somebody sent me. I couldn't believe it. This is the LA fire 2025. How does it just go, oh, let's just burn a hole through the tree and not burn the whole tree? Like, this is impossible. And then this is the Tubbs fire 2017, burning from the inside. And then the 2023, this thumbnail of Maui fire, this was a thumbnail on Cron C 3 News. Here, I can't remember if I'm saying the whole name correctly, but it was a news station in Maui that thumbnail was on for months, and now it's gone, burning from the inside out. And I asked an arborist, I said, how does the tree not burn? Like, how does it just burn from the inside? The only way a tree is going to burn from the inside out is if it's hit by lightning. So all these trees are hit by lightning during fire? I don't think so. So he said
that's how a microwave oven works. It heats the food from the inside out.
And the things that were burning had more water. The trees that burned had the most water. The arborist said that the trees that burned should not have burned because they had more water in them. And the ones that should have burned didn't burn because they didn't have any water. We even had in our harbor, Lahaina Harbor, I think it was 99 boats burned. It burned on the water. Some parts of the water in the harbor were on fire. And somebody said, it's because of the oil, because the oil's on there. It's like, come on, people. The embers caught these boats on fire. There were 13 interesting number again, 13 boats that didn't burn that were in the harbor. So why, and the blue boat that was sitting in the harbor didn't burn. It's unbelievable. Not to mention the fact that the police officers, I mean, we could go into the police chief. I've done that video a while, but he was the commanding officer for the Mandalay Bay shooting that left a lot of questions unanswered
in Las Vegas. Yeah,
they had to change the law to allow him to be the police chief in Maui. The law was you had to be a resident of Maui for a year in order to be the police captain, the police chief. They changed that 6 months prior, before he got hired, to 30 days. You had to be a resident of Maui for 30 days instead of a year, and then you could be the Maui police chief. So they changed that. He at first denied that he blocked the roads for people, but there were so many testimonies that he literally had to admit to it. And then he said, "Oh, it was because telephone poles were down." Well, the picture on the news that shows the blockade shows all the telephone poles behind him standing straight up. And then the friend who I just showed you, the stove, she actually was in her daughter's car and there was a police blockade. And she told her daughter, "Go around the blockade because the fire is coming." And they literally went around the police officer, straight shot through the road. No telephone poles were down. She came back that exact same way the next day. No telephone poles were down. So
Are
why
they
was that
telephone poles
officer
or power poles?
power poles, the
Okay.
telephone poles, power poles?
Yeah.
So why did that officer block that road if nothing was blocking it?
They were sending people into their death
That's right.
when they
That's
were
right.
making them, supposedly turning them away and making them go a different way for their own protection, instead of allowing them to go to their homes and try and get what they could before the fire ravaged it. And they were not even allowing them to go. And same thing happened at the Palisades.
Right.
But in Hawaii, on Maui, they were routing people. People died in their vehicles because they got trapped in the fire. Same thing happened in Paradise.
It was absolutely disgusting. Somebody's saying there's an echo.
What's that?
Okay, there. I'm trying to see. Somebody's saying there's an echo, so I'm going to use a different mic because maybe that's a little bit better.
Oh, okay. I haven't even checked the chats. Okay, gotcha. Yeah. Go ahead.
That is correct, and then we can talk about the animals. I can show you. Echo's still there, so I don't know why, everybody, but I can show you guys the picture of the animals here because somebody was talking about the animals.
Before you do, let me check something on my end that I think I can fix this. Edit mic settings, echo cancellation. No, it's already there. Reduce mic background. It shouldn't be happening. The microphone you were using before did work better and sounded better.
I know, that's my favorite one. Okay, let me put it back up.
Okay.
And then maybe is there something on my end? I'm not sure.
Maybe you have two microphones plugged in. Perhaps you can unplug one of them.
I just have this one. Let's see here. MacBook Air. Here we go.
Everyone watching live, thank you for your patience. This kind of stuff happens.
It does. Yep.
I haven't even opened the chat room on my end. I don't know who all's in there or what they're saying. My apologies. I'm notorious for that. I forget.
All right. I'm not sure if that worked or not. Oh, settings.
Oh, we got a lot of. Hello, Pookie. Oh my goodness, Pookie's watching. Thank you, buddy. Red Devil. What a very telling name. So there you go.
Echo cancellation is on my end as well, but it is an echo. I'm not sure.
You're hearing it because I'm not.
Yes, I do. It's not bad on my end, but somebody said it's bad. Yes, echo. Okay. So this is, I don't know. I have echo cancellation on my side and he's got echo cancellation. It could just be the powers that be. I don't know what it is.
Pookie says it's still echoing. So Pookie, maybe that's just your hearing. Maybe you have echo, some kind of a syndrome. You have echo hearing syndrome. No, I just heard it. I just heard my. Well, of course, you're way over on the Big Island, so we do have a little delay.
Yeah, so I have the pictures of the. I don't know if that worked or not. I took off the echo and put it in stereo, so maybe that's better. You guys,
you're much quieter.
Okay, can you guys hear me? You can hear me. I have the pictures of the
No, I liked it better. Please go back to what you, because on my end I'm not hearing it. That's not that prevalent. So.
All right, there we go. All right, that's back to where it was. Hopefully that was. Okay, so it's gonna be what it is, you guys. But let me show you the body. So just this morning, there is a body here, and it's really sad. There's the one also that's in the book is very disturbing. This is impossible.
Wait a minute. Hold it a second. Is that a cat in the middle? Or a kitten is awfully small, or some sort of animal. That's
Which
not what happens. I mean, if ash would crumble, you can't just pick it up and hold it like that,
well, that's a
those
toad.
animals.
There's a toad, but I'll show you the cat. I'll show you
Oh,
the
it's
cat
all a
next.
toad. Okay, gotcha.
That's a toad my friend found in the ash. This was from Arrow, my friend Arrow. He went to Lahaina to volunteer, and he found this toad in the ash, snuck it back to Big Island, thank God. And I held this toad, and we actually had it. A frontline doctor said he was going to analyze it for microwave energy. He never got back to us. He never
Because that's
returned.
what it looks like on the far right, the last one where it's we're looking at the belly. It's whomever it is holding that toad.
Yep.
Yeah, it's been all the moisture's been sucked out of it. Look at the skin is all
That's
taut.
correct. If this was in a regular fire, this would be ash.
Yeah,
There would
you
be
couldn't pick it
nothing
up and hold it
there.
like that; it would crumble.
Yep. Exactly. Exactly. And then
Petrified.
the body is
It's like
impossible.
dehydrated.
Yes. Yes, completely. And the one on the left is a human being. And you don't
Oh, good
see
Lord.
you don't see the braids in somebody's hair.
No, their hair would be burned.
Yeah, their
No,
hair
of
would be
course
gone.
not.
Look at the feet though. Something happened with the feet. Something was on the ground. Something was very hot on the ground. And also the thing with a person, I've been in the fitness wellness industry for 30 years. That's not how people fall unless it happens very, very fast. But
Right.
when somebody falls, they go to their side, they turn their face to protect their nose, and they put their arms out in front of them. They don't just fall face first unless something happens extremely quickly. And now look at the frog. This frog toad was in a jumping position. It's in a jumping position. It's about to jump, and then all of a sudden it's I don't know what the word is, carbonized. I'm not sure what the word is, but something happened very quickly. That's the mercy for these victims, that hopefully they didn't suffer because it happened so quickly. And then let me show you the next slide, which is the dog and the cat. And
Oh, good
oh,
Lord.
God. This is let me show you the
Oh
dog
my
first
God.
here. So this is, how do you have a dog? First of all, animals go under something. They go under a car. They go under the bed. This dog was in the middle of the street. He was running. He was running. Look at his paws are straight. He's running position. How do you see his ears and his paw pads and his nose and his fur? You can see the design of his fur. That is impossible. That is impossible. And then this is actually, I want to show this one here. This
Oh my
is from
God.
Texas. I wish that I had, I'm not a professional journalist, and I wish that I had snapshot because the field next to this bull, the field had cows looking like this all throughout the field, the entire field. How do you see the ear of a bull? And this is
Right.
impossible. That's not
Right.
normal. And
That's
then
not how
this
fire works.
was taken by a first responder. A first responder went in and found this cat, all of its organs and liquefied underneath the cat, and the cat is still standing straight up.
Good Lord.
And it's got its ears and its tail. These are all in my book, greatmauilandgrabbook.com, because they're nowhere else to be found. They're gone. This is impossible for
Good,
an animal.
good point, Kimmy. I'm looking at the comments now as well. Kimmy pointed out, look at the brush in the background of the cow, of the bull or cow. Look at the brush in the background that's still standing, still green, still alive. We saw that in Paradise. We saw that in Maui, where
I'll show you that.
But especially the Palisades, where homes were destroyed, but yet the brush and the landscape around it was not.
Yep. Here's Tubbs fire. This is impossible, you guys. See the way they don't call it a forest fire? The all of that white is the houses that burned, but all that brown, those trees should be black sticks. They should be black sticks. That's it. No pine trees. Look at the one on Paradise on the left. This was a mobile home park. A mobile home park destroyed all the, what's mobile home? What is it made out of? It's made out of metal.
Yeah.
How did the fire even get there? Where's the line that takes the fire there? It's like this fire is so smart. It just doesn't burn the trees. Now this is LA and Maui. How do you have a house completely destroyed by fire, a car where the engine block and the rims are melted out and the glass is melted out, but all the palm trees are still standing straight up. Have you ever, I've put palm fronds into a fire. They light up like firecracker. They're gone in seconds. Seconds they're gone. And then the LA fire, the neighborhood with still the trees still there, all the trees, but every single house is gone except the trees are still there with their leaves. Impossible. And then I want to show you this. This is very interesting. This is a 5-mile long dust screen, 12 feet high, put up 8 days after the fire. And it was put up before it was approved. It was put up before the funding was approved. $3 million to put up this 5-mile long dust screen. The approval of the funding happened 21 days after the fire. But look at all the trees. They're in the burn zone. All of those trees should be black sticks, but they're still standing with their leaves, with their branches. And you said earlier that
Is that in Maui, by the way?
This is Maui. This is Maui.
That's the first time I've ever seen that or even heard about that. I did not know.
Yeah.
5 miles long. That's tremendous.
5 miles long.
A tremendous amount of materials.
And not only that, but they had at the entrances and exits of, there's 2 of them, entrance and exit to Lahaina. They had booths with security guards for over 15 months. Over 15 months. These security guards were paid $45 an hour to sit there and make sure that nobody went into Lahaina who didn't have a placard that said that they had property there. And when they stopped you, they said no videos and no pictures. Who the hell are they? Excuse my language. Who are they to tell you you cannot take a picture or video, and why? So it's
what is the idea of a dust screen anyway? Is that supposed to be protecting people? Because you do get winds, you get trade winds there on the islands.
They said that, the dust screen is protecting the pollution from the fire from going into the water.
Or keeping people out.
Exactly. Because then you know what they did? They took all of the ash from the fire and they put it at this one location called the Aluwalu. Aluwalu sits on a hill. 8,000 people complained, don't put the ash there because the ash is going to go into the ocean because it sits on a hill. Right. So they put a 5-mile long dust screen saying, we're putting up this dust screen to protect the toxicity from going into the ocean. Then they take all the ash, stick it on a mountain, and it runs down into the ocean. It doesn't make any sense. The whole thing doesn't make sense. And I asked Matt Dankin, who's a 33-year firefighter, I said, is it normal to put a 5-mile long dust string around the entire perimeter of a fire around a city like this? And he said, Michelle, nothing was normal about this fire. Nothing. No. So,
Red Devil Dash 13 writes, trees green, untouched by blazing emergency fire vehicles, which were burned to the frames, only a foot or 2 from the trees. Yeah, let me show you that. If I have a picture of that one on this presentation, I don't think I do actually, but there was the, no, I don't, not on this. Well, go ahead and show us whatever you have next.
Well, I have this that's next. This is the, Direct Energy Weapons Systems Acquisition Act of 2016. People got to understand, Congress took over the Direct Energy Weapons Systems Acquisition, the Direct Energy Weapons Program from the Defense Department, because since the 1960s, the Defense Department has been working on direct energy weapons since the 60s, and I believe even before that, but since the 60s, and they have spent over $6 billion, that's billion with a B, on this program, and they couldn't bring it to fruition. So Congress took it over, and if you're still paying taxes, your tax dollars have funded the the fruition of the direct energy weapons program. So people are going, there's no such thing as direct energy weapons. I just want to tell people also, If you look up, just put in your URL, direct energy weapons patents. Direct energy weapon patents. The first thing I did when I did that, the first thing that came up was hundreds of direct energy weapons toward individuals. There's also direct energy weapons for collective, like if you're in a concert, or there's actually direct energy weapons that actually change the frequency of people's bodies. They can make them angry. They can give them anxiety. They can put the frequency out of fear. They can also do what's called the voice of God, and make you hear a voice and you think it's your head, your mind telling you something, when it's actually somebody programming a voice into your head. This is actually, they're not trying to hide this. You guys can put the voice of God direct energy weapon into a URL. It will come up. They're not hiding this at all. It's disturbing for us to think about. And we do have remedy. We do have remedy, you guys. It's hard. It's like, what can we do?
Well,
So
that's what Kimmy asked. How do we rise above this technology?
So what we can do, and I'm doing this. I have a member site. It's a private membership association. It's Blossom Inner Wellness. It's been my fitness Blossom, and then Inner INNER Wellness. And it's a free freedom school. It's free to join, and there's a free freedom school, so you guys start to really understand what has happened to this country. But what we can do is do what's called affidavits of truth. And there's an affidavit of truth around the climate change narrative that I have written with ChatGPT. I just freaking love it, because it would have taken me months to create this. But what we can do, and what I'm going to be doing this next week, is putting these into the public record. So here's the first thing you do with affidavits of truth. With an affidavit, if it's not rebutted, it can stand as truth in law in court. You can literally take it as truth in law in court if it's not rebutted. So what we can do as Americans, as people who want freedom to live on, is we take these affidavits and we record them with the county recorder's office, so they go into the public record. Then what we can do is talk to our legislative bodies about the fact that climate change is happening because we have all of these climate basically weapons against the people. And I don't know exactly who is pushing the button, but the more we get this out into the public awareness, the safer we're going to be. They're not going to stop this until we really start, in my view, in my opinion, in my belief, and I could be wrong, but I really feel that we need to start fighting back. And I hate the word fight, because I'd rather it be, we need to start standing up for freedom and truth.
Yeah.
And that is by
drawing the line in the sand is more
draw
like
the line in the sand and say, because I'm going to be in the book, in the addendums, I have a 17-page affidavit of truth of why the Maui fire needs a third-party investigation. And it's been ignored. So what I'm going to do, I didn't know I could do this till a couple days ago when I was researching this. I'm going to use that and stick that into the public record, and say, this is not Pono. Pono means it's not okay. Because let me just tell you guys what's happening now in Maui. 2 years, 66 homes. 2 years, 66 homes have been rebuilt. The first year, one house. After 2,200 buildings are destroyed, 2,200 buildings are destroyed. One house after a year, 66 houses now after 2 years. 0 people who have businesses have been allowed to rebuild. 0 permits issued for businesses. 0 people who've had homes on the coast. Oh, because climate change and the ocean level is going to be rising. First of all, even if that were true, which it's not, my family's been here on the islands for 30 years. The ocean level has not risen. Even if that were true, the homeowner's property, that homeowner has a right to rebuild. And maybe they sign something that says, I'm going to rebuild. And if the ocean takes my home, I'm not going to, whatever it is. That's her kuleana. That's her responsibility. If her house gets taken because of the ocean level rising, she still has a right to rebuild on her own property.
Mhm.
So that is, so that's not happening. Also,
Same thing's
there
happening in the Palisades and SoCal, Hollywood,
same
all
thing.
the, Malibu, they're not allowing them to even rebuild, not allowing them to even go back to their property to see if anything survived.
That's what happened in Maui. In Maui, media couldn't go in for 30 days. Media was not allowed in. Homeowners were not allowed back for 90 days. If you tried to stop where the dust screen was at and you were trying to stop on the perimeter of Lahaina to take pictures, cops were on you in 17 seconds. A YouTuber influencer actually tested that, and they're like 17 seconds the cops came. Okay, let me just tell you something a little bit about Hawaii. Nothing happens in 17 seconds. Nothing. You're lucky if the contractor workers actually show up that day.
There's
Okay.
the
It's
island
Hawaii
time
time.
is
Yeah,
real.
it is absolutely real. So,
Yep.
for them to go 17 seconds, and they weren't even regular cops. They actually had these huge SUVs that were not normal to the island. So, and they were watching the border, literally watching the border, and you were threatened with arrest if you tried to take pictures. It's so, so we do fight back, you guys. BlossomInnerWellness.com. It's a free private membership, and I'm going to be taking people through this live, so we do this together. You can do this in your own area. Your area, nobody is safe from this. Now people are looking at Hilo. I live on the Big Island. Hilo's the other side of the island, and we're looking at the what's called the Hamakua Coast, where it rains like every day. There's some rain, and now it's all of a sudden, oh, it's not raining anymore. Why is that? Hamakua Coast is one of the most beautiful coasts on the island. If you've ever seen the Water World with Kevin Costner, they landed on Waimea, which is on the other side of the island, which is the Hamakua Coast. It's beautiful, lush waterfalls. You name it. My friend who has his own property on the Hamakua Coast, his waterfall never runs dry. Ran dry this year. So we're looking at that, going, okay, is Hilo next? Hilo also doesn't have a community plan, and you got to look at your planning department. So this is the last thing I'll say, and I'll give it back to you, Charlie. This is really important. What's happening, what's set for Lahaina, what's set for LA, North Carolina, all these smart cities, Jamaica, is coming for all of us through our general plans. So this is the easiest way to look at your general plan without reading the 300-page document, which we had here on island. You can go to ChatGPT and put in what part of my county's plan. So it's like, let's say I did this when I was on Ann Vandersteel, and her county was Palm Beach. She put in what constitutional amendments is Palm Beach County's general plan violating. I'm going to say that again. Put this in ChatGPT, you guys. What constitutional amendments is your county's, so hers was Palm Beach County's general plan violating? And we did that on a live interview, and a list of constitutional amendments that her general plan was violating came up right there. We have it here on Big Island. And then what you got to do is you got to go to your county council. You got to go to your county council meetings. We've been going to our county council meetings for over a year now. I met with the mayor. He actually paused our general plan because of my meeting. At first, he called all of us conspiracy theorists. Then I did a video, and he ended up meeting with me for over an hour. I brought a stack of documents showing him how our general plan will violate the Constitution. He paused the general plan. Then he was told that he couldn't pause it. It has to go through the county council. So now it's in the county council, and now we're going to every single meeting saying, you guys, and showing them why we are concerned. They want to make important agriculture land here on the Big Island where farmers farm food, and they want to turn it into natural land, which means more control, more restrictions, more permits that our farmers are going to have to jump through, because now it's natural land, and maybe they're
Nobody gets to live on it, nobody gets to build on it.
Correct. So we're fighting that. We're fighting it all. There's more to it than that, but you guys, look at your general plans. Don't sit around and think somebody's going to save you. The person who looks back at you in the mirror is going to save you. Okay? You. That's who it's going to be. So go, ChatGPT will take you 30 seconds. Put in what constitutional amendments is my county's general plan violating. Look at that. Then go to your county councils. ChatGPT has been really great because it can help you write your affidavits. So, you know, I wrote the one by myself. Took me quite a number of weeks. And then ChatGPT wrote the affidavit for our general plan. It took him a minute. So, you know, you have to double check what ChatGPT does say, but it's super easy to do. Super easy. So use it because it's there for us. Somebody said, do you see that one on a Red Devil? ChatGPT never used it. I'm a tech tard. You know what? I was afraid to use it. I was like, I'm not using that.
I've been avoiding AI altogether.
I was avoiding it.
Just been avoiding it.
It makes things so much faster. When I put that in, what constitutional amendments is Big Island's general plan 2045 violating? And the whole list came up. And then I said, and then it goes, would you like me to write an affidavit for you? And I was like, yeah. And it wrote the whole affidavit. And then I said, now write the affidavit again and use the page numbers of what page numbers are violating the Constitution. It did that for me. I'm just like, oh my God. So that's when it's now my friend.
Now my friend. One thing I've noticed that's common with all of these questionable fires is horrific destruction. They all seem to have one thing in common. They're in very desirable places to live. Well, there's a whole lot of beauty. I don't see Needles, California being ravaged by laser beams and microwaving the houses and destroying and leveling there. No, I see it in Paradise, which was called Paradise for a reason. It was very beautiful. Northern California forest, mountainous, Palisades, Malibu, Maui, beautiful lands up in Canada. I am telling you, man, this is all part of the whole smart city thing. This is all part of the whole you will own nothing and be happy. And they want to do it in places that are desirable. Places where people will go, oh, yeah, I get to live here now. I don't own where I'm living, but that's okay. I get to live in Palisades, and I'm not a rich person. So you got a lot of people who are going, oh, who cares? They're all wealthy anyway. And there was just a bunch of Hollywood stars lost their homes. Who cares? Who cares? You should care. You should care if anybody has something stolen away from them like that through nefarious means, through criminal acts, which is what this is. Who's going to prosecute? How are we going to bring these people down? I don't know. I feel so overwhelmed sometimes by all of it. There's so many things. So I think the best thing I can throw out there is pray. Pray against evil. Pray to the creator of the universe, because trust me, he hates this too, that his will be done on earth as it is in heaven. And that I pray for, he promises a peace beyond all understanding, but you got to reach out to him. You got to get in the word, get in his word. It will comfort you. Read the book of John. Start there. A chapter a day keeps false teachers away. You can't be fooled when the one who created language and all that we know is spelling it out for you in God's word. Start there, please. Read the book of John, just a chapter a day. Really, it takes you 5 minutes. It'll change your life. It'll change your perspective. It'll change your world. Other than that, I love that you've given us one way. I don't know what that would accomplish other than to get it on record and on the books, as you said. But please go to her website. This is Michelle Melendez, and her website is Blossom. What was it
Inner
again?
Wellness. Blossom Inner Wellness. BLOSSOMINNER. Inner Wellness. I'll put it in the chat. And the thing with what we when you, God, the infinite creator of all things, will give you a feeling. Like, it's not a mistake that you guys are watching us live right now, or if you're watching the video later. Each one of us is the bravest of the brave to be here at this time in history, because this is, I feel, the end of the satanic cult that has been running the world. the government's not what we think it is. My new book, The Death of Freedom, is gonna share a lot of a truth that is going to blow people's mind, because we don't understand this government's not what we think it is. But here's the thing: when you are guided to do something, do it. Because that's when your intuition gets stronger. Every single time with my business, I would always go, when I'd get stuck, I'd go, okay, great spirit, what's next? What's next? And I would just let it go. And then at 4:30 in the morning, I get woken up and I'm like, oh, I'm supposed to do this, or I'm supposed to do that. And I follow it and I do it and I trust. And that's what our kuleana is. What your kuleana is what's yours to do. What is yours to do? Yours is to follow your guided intuition. Try something new. Get out of your box of doing the same thing over and over again. If you're complaining about things, go to a county council meeting, see what they're doing. If you're just try ChatGPT one time with what I just said, and it will blow your mind. Because I was afraid to use it, didn't want to use it, wasn't going to use it. Then I was like, Michelle, you don't have time to read a 300-page document with over 400 goals that they want to put through Big Island. Let me just tell you, the Big Island general plans are normally 50 pages with 7 to 8 goals. This one is 300 pages with almost 400 goals that they want to do. Okay, that's a little concerning. So it's one of the easiest things to do, and then trust in the Great Spirit, because that's what we got, and that's going to be enough, I think.
Amen. And your book. Let's see your book one more time. Where do we find that?
Great Maui Land Grab. You can get it at greatmauilandgrabbook.com. It was third place. It also has 21 LA Fire oddities, because this is the 4th edition. I was like, when that went down, I had to put that in there with the mayor going off to another country when she said she wouldn't go to a country if she got elected, and she stayed there. She knew there was a danger, and she stayed there. And then when she was told that the fire was happening, she still stayed to take pictures with the president that was being elected at the inauguration that she went to. So she didn't leave right away. She stayed and took pictures. I mean, it's disgusting what these people are. These people are demons.
Michelle's talking about Karen Bass, the mayor of
Los
Angeles.
Thank you very much.
This is how little faith I have in my own electorate in California, because it's so dirty and so rife with corruption that if she runs for re-election as mayor of LA, I'll bet she'll win.
Because of the way the election system is, but that's another thing too, is that we have to take action. So I'm going to explain something to you guys. The Death of Freedom is my 3rd book. It's almost ready to go. It'll be done this weekend, and it's called The Death of Freedom: How the American Dream Dies and How to Save It. So there's how to save it, which is very, very important.
And that's what I appreciate the most about you, because a lot of people complain and whine, and here's everything that's wrong, but they don't present any way of maybe actually changing it.
Yep.
So I really appreciate that.
All of that. And here's the thing that people understand is that there's a reason why the pyramid is so important, and it's on our dollar bill, and it's in Freemasonry with the compass and the
freaky eye.
The thing, I can't remember what it is. Yeah. But let me explain what this means. It means heart, emotions, mind, and action. And they all need to be done together. So you have your heart, your emotions, your mind, what it is you're focused on, and then you take action. And what Americans have been conditioned to do is to be lackadaisical, to watch the television, to watch shows, to watch somebody else taking action.
Live life. Yeah.
And it's up to each one of us, you guys. And here's the thing: if you think you can't do this, you can. I'm a fitness trainer. I've been a fitness and wellness instructor for 30 years. I didn't know, and still don't sometimes know, what the heck I'm doing. I just know I have to do something, and I just try something. and I just keep going and keep trying and keep speaking out. So it's right now it's important for us to come together. So bring your people together, share these videos, and take action. Look at your general plan. Do one thing this week. And then maybe that's just looking at ChatGPT and let ChatGPT show you the constitutional amendments that your general plan is violating. And then ask Great Spirit, whatever you believe in God, whatever that is for you, what should I do? And let it go. And something will show up. Something will show up. Maybe, you'll see an advertising that county council meeting is going to be happening on Wednesday or whatever. Go. It's sometimes it gets boring. This is funny. My sister, we were speaking out against the general plan, and my sister's been going to these county council meetings for a while, and she goes to me, because there was a lot of us speaking out against this general plan. She goes, "This is the funnest I've ever had in a county council meeting," because we were all just going for it, each one of us, when we gave our
Good.
testimony.
Good.
So
I sure appreciate you so much. Thank you for taking the time to be on my little old show, my friend.
Oh, I appreciate you having me. Thank you. And somebody was asking, what is the question to put into ChatGPT? It's, what are the constitutional amendments that my county put in your county's name, general plan, is violating? You want to know the constitutional amendments that your general plan is violating? Put that in ChatGPT, see what shows up. Thank you again, Charlie, for having me.
All right, my friend. And thank you to everybody in the chat. I forget to open that up. You've been very encouraging, and you've added so much. So thank you. It's a different deal when we do these shows live, and I actually get to experience this. So I'm kind of new to doing the whole live thing, but I appreciate you more than you know. And while you're there, if you could help me support this show by getting the word out and sharing these kind of shows, you can do that all through my website. You'll find where these shows are. You can support. You'll click on my merch store, buy some of the products I have on there. Let's talk about politics and religion. And my big old 15-ounce mug. There's all kinds of stuff like that on there. All at charliesimons.com. CharlieSimons. charliesimons.com. May God bless you and keep you. May God bless America, but most importantly, America bless God. See you all later. All of you in the chat, thank you so much. That's been awesome.